Trump Deportation Army lands in Chicago. All right,
President Trump has made clear Chicago is the next target for federal troops to fight crime.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent, and we'll straighten that one out probably next. That'll be our next one after this.
So President Trump is making good on his promise to sweep America clean of criminals, one sanctuary city at a time. And after making astounding progress in the nation's capital, removing homeless encampments, arresting criminals, and deporting...
It's basically toxic empathy. Like, you have these people who are not affected by the crime as much. Either they're not affected by the crime as much, right? You have the people in like gated communities, the people that are like living in nicer areas. Those people being overly sympathetic towards criminals. And the other thing is people who, so it's the people that either A, aren't exposed to it, or the people B who can afford to be exposed to it, right? So if you're, I guess it's sort of almost the same thing, right? If you can afford to not be exposed to it, right? Like you're it's okay. Well, it's okay if my car gets broken into. It's whatever. I can just pay for like repairs, right? Yeah, like those people, and then the people that live in gated communities that are basically being overly sympathetic towards criminals for like whatever racist reason. Honestly, it's probably a racist reason. I'm just being real. But like for whatever like reasons that they have, causing tyranny on the everyday person that has to put up with it.
Illegal fugitives, it looks like the president's cleanup legions are up for another challenge.
The military is here, shorty. They on the street. The military really here, shorty. Y'all thought life was a joke. Y'all think everything...
All right, these guys just robbed, I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom.
In the viral video, people looked on recording the brazen act as this crew rushed out the store after ripping off dozens of designer purses.
This is who Chicago really is. What's being painted by the federal government is false. We love one another. We support one another. We put our arms around one another.
Yeah, but see, like, you're saying that you support the average person being placed under tyranny. That's what you want. You want the everyday person to have to suffer under the heel of criminals who you're protecting. That's what it is, really.
The people in Chicago are screaming for us to come. They're wearing red hats, just like this one. They're saying, please, President Trump, come to Chicago.
You need to bring the National Guards to Chicago, man.
This comes as a burglary at the Foot Locker in West Englewood Tuesday. Surveillance video of that incident shows
like do you need and this is the lie. The lie that they'll say is like, oh, they need it to survive, right? Oh, like what are they gonna do? They have to steal the bread. They have to steal bread to feed their families, right? Do you really need those fucking Nikes? Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You need Nikes to live? Get the fuck out of here.
Method the young thieves use to smash through the store windows and grab what they can.
Retail theft crackdown along one of Chicago's premier shopping districts.
I have at least 2 undercovers in each store with their loss prevention.
When they see it's being prosecuted, it's being taken seriously, it absolutely deters conduct. They don't want to get caught.
Wow. Hold on. You're telling me that if you actually enforce the rules, that people are less incentivized to break? No. There's no way that's real. Right, chat? There's no way that's real. How is that possible? Really?
So some people are of the opinion that the president should send the National Guard to Chicago yesterday.
Guys, I have severe retard fatigue. I'm like maxed out retard fatigue, dude.
But what nobody's talking about is that the mayor of Chicago is against this, and the governor of Chicago is against this, and if politicians are against something, you better believe.
And like, whatever. Like say whatever you want. But I care about the normal law-abiding people of this country. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care who you want to fuck. I care about the everyday person who is getting fucked over all the time by these freaking idiots. That's what I care about.
A majority of progressives living in Chicago are also against it.
Call me a fascist if you want. I don't care anymore.
In Chicago could be tough, even though the city is home to normal common sense.
Am I real, guys? You know what? Fine. You know what? Call me a fascist. Whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, fine. If that's what you want, then call me it.
It's people who want to see change in their neighborhoods. The only problem is they're eclipsed by armies of lunatics who hate the president so much. There'll be a sanctuary city that protects criminals, even if that causes the entire place to collapse. Which it is. Chicago's one of the most dangerous cities in in America. In fact, about 6 months ago, several McDonald's restaurants abandoned the downtown area over crime. And the Dunkin' Donuts, which is refusing to give up, has decided to install bulletproof glass everywhere.
Because there's people that say fascism, they don't even know what fascism is. They're just using it as like, you know, like bad word. We just say it over and over again. Nazi, Hitler. Like they just say it over and over again. They don't know what any of it means.
Plus, they've even got a bank-style money drop where you can get your munchkins. But here's the problem. All the crime you hear about happening in Chicago didn't get to this place by accident. And if a city protects the bad guys and refuses to jail them, they climb to the top of the criminal ladder and stay there. And that brings us to the real reason why the National Guard could soon arrive on the streets of the Windy City. This place, it's imploding, collapsing in real time, and it's doing it while its leaders cheer it on. But we're now at a crossroads because
when are they coming to San Francisco? San Francisco's bad too. I guess Chicago's worse. I don't know which one's worse. Is it San Francisco, chat, or is it Chicago? I don't know. Probably Chicago's worse, I'm guessing. Your boos mean nothing because I know what you cheer. Exactly how I feel, honestly. Like, it's so tiring, you know? Like, just the retard fatigue is just, man, they see something bad about Nazis in school and they think anything is Nazi. Yeah, it's just like Nazi has become, like, they don't even know what it means anymore. Like it's so bad because it allows, like, actual, it allows actual Nazis, like, in the purer sense of the word, to actually hide within it because they just call everything, it's just bad, Nazi bad. Like, they're just, that's how they see it now. The word Nazi has been watered down so much that you have a lot of people who just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, they get called a Nazi, they're just like, yeah, okay. Well, you know, if they get called a Nazi, they're probably based. That's what a lot of people are thinking now, because all they do is throw it around. Like, you'll have a person who supports Trump and they'll be like, yeah, that person's a Nazi. So, like, what happened was now people who support Trump, you know, they have someone get called a Nazi and they're like, oh, he probably loves Trump then, probably based. That's how they see it now. It's watered it down so much that, like, it means nothing. And it's like the problem with language when you do that. It's like the boy who cried wolf, like, literally, like, you know, the story of that is they just kept saying wolf all the time, and now nobody cares when there's an actual wolf in the city. Because what does that even mean? Oh, there's a wolf in the town. Oh yeah, that's just Bob. Yeah, shut the fuck up. That's just Bob. Right? And then now there's an actual wolf in the city. And when you say you cry wolf, they're just like, oh, he probably just means like another reasonable person, right? They'll say they aren't Nazis, aren't socialists, despite the centralized economy and redistribution of goods. Yep, you're taking away weapons from people and everything. Yeah, you know, segmenting people into groups, saying like this group of people is bad. Yeah, it's crazy, right? How did that happen? How did that happen?
Americans are horrified at what's happening here. The Trump resistance movement thinks armies of criminals and illegal fugitives living in their city is perfectly fine. And they also think constant smash and grab looting is okay too. At least that's what they must think, because every leader here is bragging about how safe this place is. Something only its residents would believe.
The military is here, shawty. The military is here. They on the streets. The military really here, shorty. Y'all thought life was a joke. Y'all think everything...
Things are so out of control in Chicago, there's already some elevated form of military presence deployed here. And these people don't care what the crime stats their progressive leaders give them, even say these are their statistics, possibly manipulated, tailor-made to help them win re-election in the face of information that proves they're incompetent. And you know, one way to make crime stats go way down is to just stop arresting criminals.
All you gotta do basically, and this is what they do in like these this is why whenever they say something like, oh, the crime has went down in like one of these, so like if you're like if you're a person that has eyes, right, you can see that like the crime is crazy, right? Like you can see like videos of people getting like broken into, the Walgreens that has like chains up and like, you know, like they chain up all of the frozen pizzas, and they have steel-proof cases for everything in the wall. You can't even buy like fucking shampoo without having to ask somebody to open the thing like that's locked by key, right? You have fast food places with bulletproof glass, and then they'll tell you to your face, "Oh yeah, crime's down. Crime's down in this place. Yeah, it's great." And then like, and then you'll see like the smash and grabs. Oh, like the police, you know, the news car goes into the city to report on all of the car thefts, and then they get their shit stolen while doing the report on it. And that'll happen, and they'll say it to your face. "Oh yeah, crime's down, by the way, right?" And the reason why crime is down is because they decriminalize a bunch of shit. So if you have this is how their logic works. If there are 100 thefts in a city, but then you say, "Oh, it doesn't count as theft anymore if you don't steal under $1,000. As long as you steal $999, it's not a crime anymore." And then they'll say, "Actually, there wasn't 100 thefts. There was only one because everyone else only stole $500 worth of stuff." And that's how they do it. And then they use that in their statistics, and they go, "I'm running for mayor. By the way, crime was down when I was in charge." And then everybody goes, literally every fucking time, dude. And it's so fucking annoying, dude. It's so irritating.
Which doesn't happen enough here, apparently. But even though that could make the crime stats fall, the entire city is gonna fall along with them.
This Foot Locker store remains closed, and it's unclear when it will reopen.
Boarded up.
It's the third Foot Locker that crash and grab thieves have targeted in the city in the last week. This afternoon, a steady stream of Foot Locker customers are left stunned after finding out the store is closed following an early morning crash and grab by thieves.
I'm shocked and I'm disappointed at the same time because this neighborhood used to be a very good neighborhood.
It happened around 6 o'clock Sunday morning at the store in the Lake Meadow Shopping Center, located near 35th and King Drive in Chicago.
That's crazy. So 3 Foot Lockers totally cleaned out. And what's ridiculous about this is not only have these thieves
they need to hire rooftop Koreans. Like, that's what they need. They need to like increase the police budget, not by like adding more cops, but adding more rooftop Koreans. It would solve all of the problems, I think, in this world. Yeah.
Escaped and had time to pull off their robbery the way
some people would probably do it for free. I'm just being real. If you gave them like some snacks and like you gave them some snacks like a radio, they'd probably do it for free.
Pillaging these places is this new style of crash and grab, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They're ramming a car through the front gate of a store, and if that car breaks down while they're trying to loot the store, while they've got another car ready to go, they fill it up with loot and just
high protein Nikes, right, chat?
Away. That's awful. And it's one thing to be a sanctuary city that's full of federal
highly nutritious Nike MREs. That's what they were stealing.
Fugitives, gang members,
for their
criminals,
children,
cartel members. But it's quite another to have every other type of elevated crime happening all at the exact same time.
They're just so good. They're just such good fathers going out to get milk at the Nike store, right, guys?
Is going to be able to survive here for very much longer if something's not done.
Look now over the White House where
high protein, lactose free Nikes. That's what it is. Yep.
Not far away, the National Guard is on D.C. streets, dispatched directly by the president to fight crime.
Now the president says Chicago is next. There are many questions about how that would work.
Yes,
Arjun Monteri is live with that and new reaction from the community.
The fact is, we don't need that. Come to the people who live here. Come to the people that live day to day.
So the problem is, you've got some people who live in Chicago and they live with the crime and they say, you know what, this is wrong. This is a big
sounds like a race traitor to me. Am I right, guys?
big problem. We don't have to live like this. Then you got other people who say, you know what, our city is fine. And if we have problems, those problems are the result of external.
That's what they say. If you have black people who stand up and saying, listen, we're tired of this crime shit. This is bullshit. Like, this is so dumb. We're so over this. I'm voting for Republic. I'm voting for Trump. Then the other people will call them race traitors. It's actually real. It's actually what happens.
Forces that come from outside of Chicago. All of this retail theft, well, those people must be victims of a society that's
black
completely
faces of
unfair.
white supremacy.
And if there are illegal federal fugitives living here just trying to quote unquote get by, well, that's Donald Trump's fault because he's such a
if you don't vote for the Democrats, then you ain't black. That's right.
Bad president. They're scared of him. That's why they've come here. Yet the reality is, if you're going to be a place that protects criminals by not sending them to jail.
That was a real Joe Biden quote, by the way. I was just quoting Joe Biden.
If you're going to get there, if you're going to protect criminals to that level, and then you say we're also going to protect federal fugitives.
We gotta play a game, guys. We gotta play a game sometime where we just look at quotes and then it's like, is this quote from the KKK or the Democrats? We should do that. It'd be hilarious.
Every thug on the planet is going to say, you know what, I want to go there because that's a place where I can commit crime at a level I can't anywhere else in the world or even America.
How this would work. The federal government has
Twitcher terrorist,
jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., but only a
Yo, Keegan, thank you so much.
governor can deploy the National Guard troops.
Yes.
Our legal expert says the government can simply boost the federal presence that's already here.
And it's not something that would be unusual for the federal government to say, hey, listen, we're going to supplement our resources here in Chicago to try to assist the Chicago police.
I see it as a negative because I don't know what's necessarily going on that would trigger that type of response.
Oh, you don't know what's going on
here. We're making progress. We're giving hope, and you're taking it away.
Oh, really? Hope to who? Hope to criminals that want to do the wrong thing and make Chicago less safe? Make America less
They love criminals. They love them.
safe? Really? But this idea that Chicago's fine, where does that idea come from? Well, there are some who say it might be a manufactured idea because there are serious concerns with how accurate these falling crime numbers people point to actually are. And as we just saw in Washington, D.C., the same progressive machine tried to lie its way out of its crime problem, only for it to come out that the city has likely been playing games with the numbers here as well. New York City does the exact same thing. They constantly tell us here in this city.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a little story. So again, remember I told you guys I lived like kind of on the edge of the countryside before. It was kind of like suburbia meets like kind of like rural areas, right? So like again, there was like farms, like you could buy like vegetables from farms. There were like cows everywhere and lots of open space. The houses were a lot like kind of bigger and more spread apart. I lived in that kind of a place when I lived in California, right? So this happened. So my sheriff, like where I lived, like he was very pro-gun and he was very pro like citizens should be able to protect themselves. He issued like concealed carry to like a bunch of people, like in California, which is crazy because like you normally can't get a concealed carry like permit in California. It's really, really hard to get one. But our sheriff made it so that his citizens could get them, right? And then I was under his jurisdiction, so God bless I was, right? This kind of wild and out shit happened one time in our town, and again. Small town, a lot of like Trump supporters, like in California. It's like a kind of a conservative stronghold in California, right? Someone tried to wild out on someone's store, like this kind of like crime shit that happens all the time. break in, like this kind of shit right here.
That the city has likely been playing.
There was this old man who owned I think it was a convenience store, some kind of store, like one of those like corner stores. They tried to do this to him. He fucking killed him. He just pulled out his shotgun, just boom, gone. And everyone in the town was like, yeah, based.
Games with the numbers here as well. New York City does the exact same thing. They constantly tell us here in this city how safe it is.
Yeah, people in the town were like, yeah, fuck around and find out. Yeah, good. Right? It wasn't like oh my God, but like now, like this person lost his life. This is like the worst thing ever. Like, bro, he tried to, he brought in a gun. He tried to hold up an old man and the old man blasted him. You fucking get what you deserve. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand this like sympathy toward the old man. Dude, the old man, he almost had a heart attack. Like he had to go to the hospital after. And no one's talking about that. They're just talking like you have like people who normally would be like, oh, like what about the criminal? Dude, I don't give a fuck about the criminal. I'm just being real. Like I just don't care anymore. Like if you're trying to prey upon people that you think are weak and then you get fucked up for it, that's your problem. You shouldn't have been a fucking animal. It's that simple.
Yet for the last 2 years, we've had a permanent National Guard presence, and Trump didn't put those troops there. That's how dangerous it is. Oh, but it's safe. And I think most Americans are now past the point of believing some progressive individual that refuses to lock up criminals.
Jesus says, OC seems better than LA, but all the James clickers make me think otherwise. It depends. So like, as a person who lived in OC, I didn't live in, at this time, I'm not talking about the OC here, but the OC is kind of weird because if you're not from the area, the OC is like some of the areas are really nice and then some of the areas are really fucked up, and it's like all in like one county where like one city will be like completely fucked up, like crime hellhole, freaking homeless encampments everywhere, and then literally the city next to it will be like really nice. So like for instance, like if you consider like let me just give an example, like Santa Ana and Irvine, they're like literally like right next to each other, and like Santa Ana is like fucked in some places, and Irvine is fucking beautiful. It's crazy. It's like the complete opposite, even though they're right next to each other, and you have that kind of thing happening there.
And is totally against the idea of putting anyone in jail for criminal behavior. When we hear these politicians talk to us about how
Sora Mamoru says it's because of the university. No, it's because of culture. I'm gonna be real. There's more people in Irvine that have like better, like they have like more civilized culture. Just being real.
How many improvements they're making in their city? There has to be doubt shed on those policies because they obviously aren't working.
Well, Chicago is named America's murder capital for the 13th consecutive year.
Wow.
And Democrat leaders are now being called out for demonizing police and touting a declining crime rate despite the concerns of residents from all across that city.
Wonderful.
Let's bring in Raymond Lopez, Democratic Chicago alderman. Your city, unfortunately, is the murder capital. Raymond, why?
Yeah, why, Raymond?
The reason is simple, John. We have a political elite that is in love with criminality, that encourages criminal behavior, pushes down our police officers.
I don't like the police.
Demonizes
I don't mean him. I'm talking about like the Democrats. They're like, I don't like the police. They're scary.
Their work on a daily basis and elevates the perpetrators of crime as the victims of society themselves. And
you know what? Criminals love it. When you excuse their behavior,
they love it
as being behavior put out.
Jesus says, what's worse, Compton, Chicago, or Detroit? I've never been to Chicago or Detroit, but I've been to Compton. Compton is also scary. A lot of those places are really scary, just being real. I don't like being in the city. In LA, I hate it, man. There was like one time, there's like so many stories I have of just like being in like super sus situations there.
Out by victims of unfairness in the world. That way they get...
I'm so glad I had like a freaking carry permit in California. It was nice. Dude, I can't even imagine not having that. Like having to go to like those major cities like LA. It's scary, man. Especially like towards the end. Like it wasn't as bad like before, but like man, like towards as it was approaching like the COVID era, holy fuck, it got so much worse.
Light sentences and they can keep being criminals. You think criminals care about criminal justice reform? They sure do, and they want the same things these progressive leaders want. They don't want to see anybody in jail. They have constant excuses for why they might be doing things that are wrong, none of which have to do with people's behavior or a lack of consequences. That's for sure. And you know, one of the issues in these progressive cities isn't just that they refuse to lock up criminals. It's that when a criminal gets caught doing something terrible and they go before a judge and it's time for the law to come down on them, half of what they did ends up getting dismissed, which means it never happened. And if you've got violent criminals running around with unlicensed items that they're not supposed to have, and then they get caught with that stuff and they go before a judge and those charges get dismissed for some reason and they get hit with some misdemeanor, some lesser offense, they're back out on the street. They've just gotten away with something heinous. The city's not any safer, but the crime stats, they look better because, this guy is just a misdemeanor, no big deal. Boys will be boys. That's the attitude.
Right now, the disregard for human life is so high in the city of Chicago that you can literally have a group of 100 teens enjoying a warm day and almost expect at least 2 or 3 to be. And many of our politicians, like Brandon Johnson and others, continue to make excuses, continue to rationalize this behavior as opposed to hold them and their parents accountable for what's going on.
You know, this is the real problem. If the leaders of a city are going to come out and say that the criminals are victims and that they need to be protected and that they need second chances, if that's what's going to happen and people are never, ever, ever in trouble for what they do, why would they stop if they're criminals?
Why would
These aren't people that are learning lessons.
Why would they? It's a benefit for them, right? They get free shit. If you bust into a place and you know, if you want something, you want some new Nikes, and you could bust into a store and steal it, and you have no consequences, then why the fuck wouldn't you do it?
With no...
How is this confusing? This is like what I don't understand. Like, this isn't rocket science. How are people not able to understand this concept? Man, I have such retard fatigue. I'm just being real. I'm so tired, man. I'm so tired of these idiots being in control of shit.
That's what we're looking at here in Chicago. We're seeing it.
I don't even want to be I don't want to be in control of anything. I hate that shit. I don't want to be in control of everything. But we can't keep letting these people have the control. They're fucking morons.
Also in New York, we're seeing it in LA, all these progressive sanctuary cities. It's the same thing from top to bottom.
Last year, Chicago had 573 murders.
Down.
Okay, but I want to compare that to the city of New York that is almost 2/3 the size of Chicago, 337 murders. So you had 573 murders in the city of Chicago, and you're 1/3 the size.
That's the lowest amount in 5 years under my leadership.
When I hear your answer, no one in this room should be surprised that your approval rating is 6.6%.
Damn.
The mayor seemed...
That's bad.
Yeah. How can your approval rating be so bad if the crime stats are so great? If it's the safest Chicago's ever been?
Yeah.
How can the mayor be taking heat for that? That doesn't add up. That's where the disconnect with reality is. The same thing's happening here in New York. We've got a mayor with pretty low approval, and our leaders keep telling us how safe this city is.
God, can you imagine that? Your city is so fucked that McDonald's moved out. Man, McDonald's is like not worth it.
People don't believe it. People aren't stupid. People live their lives every single day, and they exist in a sea of crime that they're told is all in their head, that they're told is a figment of their imagination. It's not really out there, because every time some gang member with loaded weapons shows up before a judge, dismiss that.
People can't be murdered when they're killed.
And, hopefully
they're
we
already
never see
killed.
this guy again.
Acknowledging the 6.6% approval rating was probably the only truthful thing that happened at that hearing, because even in that instance, the mayor was deflecting. He was lying, because the reason that the numbers are down in his estimation is because they've been able to use jurisdictional overlap to try and negate even more numbers being added to our totals. If it happened on an expressway or a county road, then they don't count in the city of Chicago, even if it happened within our borders.
Wait, what?
But what I do know is this, is that people aren't calling...
They're using like semantics to... Oh my goodness, dude. Like, well, technically, this square is like is not technically a part of the city of Chicago, because it's a state facility, so that doesn't count for the murders in Chicago. Oh my god.
911 anymore. People are afraid. Police are unable to do their job because of cancellation of gunshot detection technology and other things. We know that the perception of the violence in the city of Chicago is real.
So Chicago, they're not only playing games with how they record crimes, they've also disabled their gunshot technology system, which would help police pinpoint the location of something that...
Wait, what? What did he say? Gunshot technology? What?
Which would help police pinpoint the location of something that could be very dangerous, get there quickly, and possibly...
Wait, hold on. You're telling me that they had a system in Chicago to detect like the position of gunshots? Man, my McDonald's doesn't allow people inside after 6 p.m. without showing their IDs first. What the fuck, sir? What the fuck, dude? I live in the countryside. I can walk into a McDonald's at freaking 10 p.m. and it's like no problem. And it's like nice inside, you know? Man, that's crazy. They have a gunshot triangulation system, and that's crazy. How are you gonna say you don't have a crime problem when you have to have a gunshot triangulation service? Man,
save lives. They're doing.
How do people live in this? How do people live in this, chat? I just don't get it. Like, does any of you guys live in one of these places? Like, how do you do it? I just don't like. How do you live like that? What could possibly be worth that? What could possibly be worth like living your life like this? This is ridiculous. You also have it in your city as well, Sams. Holy fuck, man! How do you do it? I just don't get it.
Could be very dangerous. Get there quickly and possibly save lives. They're doing everything they can to lift up the rug and sweep all the crime in this city underneath it. But you can't do that forever before the rug becomes impossible to walk on and people start falling down until the whole place ends up.
I'm just being real. Like, listen. They keep doing these things to kind of accommodate for criminals. That's the problem. It's just like criminal accommodation shit. Oh, well, you know what? We're just going to have to live around the criminals. We're just going to have to live around it. Like all, the criminals and what they do, we're just going to have to build around it. I guarantee you they would lower crime if like they caught a criminal, dead to rights in the act, like no questions asked, and they just shot him on the spot. I bet you that would lower crime.
falling down on top of itself and collapse.
They just fucking exodiated them. Like the instant like somebody like shoots at a cop or something, they just not that they already do that for that. But like, you know, the instant like somebody's like caught dead to rights in the crime, they just exodia you instantly.
And that's what we're
it would
seeing
lower
here.
crime.
You've got every type of criminal on the planet who wants to do something wrong, looking at cities like this saying, you know what, that's a good idea. I'm gonna go there. I'm not
like, obviously I'm kind of memeing, guys. I'm not like being serious. I don't think we should do that. I'm just saying that it would lower crime. Like, you know, there's other ways you could do this by just having harsher penalties, obviously. Like if somebody like does one of these crimes, you lock them up for way longer. You know what? Like, you know, you break into a store with a gun and you like try to rob a 7-Eleven, fucking 30 years. Are they going to keep doing it if they know that the penalties are so steep? Fuck no.
I'm going to go to a place, a red state like Florida, where they've got jails that they plan to put me in. I'm not going to go to those places. I'm going to leave
places. That was my
places
point, by the way, with that whole thing.
Like that, and go somewhere where the leadership is going to protect me, where all my friends are, where my friends are telling me, hey man, you get away with all kinds of stuff here, you should come out here. Criminal empires love progressivism. It feeds what they do, and I happen to think that's a pretty big problem. But what do you think? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Man, treat criminals like criminals, but not without due process. Yeah. I know. I'm just memeing. I was just memeing earlier. The point of what I was saying is that, like, if you actually enforce the law, you actually give these people consequences for their actions, like real consequences that they feel, then it will lower crime. That's it. I'm so tired of like this empathy for people that have no empathy for, they have no empathy for the normal person. They're fucking predators. That's what they are. They're fucking savage predators. And they prey upon law-abiding citizens. And all we do in society for some fucking reason is we're sympathetic towards them, and we try to declaw all of the law-abiding citizens. That's how society has been like the last 10 years. I don't know why we went down this road. I have no idea. I don't even know how this is possible. I'm just being real, guys. Like the only explanation is that we have total retard takeover. That's the only explanation I could think of. Total retard takeover.